Watch the Game podcast. What's up, good people?
Yo,
LA Cheetah.
yo, Benjamin Banneker. We here, late night edition, but we here.
Pretty late, man, but we had to spit on this big game going on in Columbus, Ohio. Your Michigan State, your Michigan Wolverines against
Yeah,
the Ohio State Buckeyes.
yeah, man. It's November 26th. That's Saturday after Thanksgiving. What we been waiting for? And we both 11-0, so it's a heavyweight fight coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, but before we get to that, do you think both teams got kind of caught overlooking their opponents previously, with Michigan kind of struggling with the Illinois fighting Illini and Ohio State probably getting their biggest test against Maryland. You think those guys were kind of both teams kind of looking ahead, or I think with Michigan you got some injuries that probably had an effect on the team and the way that game was played. Not to take anything away from Illinois, they playing good football, but
Yeah, I think they both. I mean, because that's all the talk we've been hearing, especially since we got into the back half of the season. They on the collision course, and you one game away. I know Michigan, just from a personnel standpoint, they held a lot of guys out. There are a lot of guys that probably could have played, like Mike Morris. He didn't. He was suited up, but he didn't hit the field. Um, Donovan Edwards, they held him out. Now the rumor is something with his hand, but he was held out. Blake Corum got hurt. Who else didn't play? Schoonmaker, the tight end, they number one tight end, didn't play. So they held a lot of people out. To me, that says you kind of overlooking this opponent, because at the end of the day, if you lost that game, if you beat Ohio State and you win the Big Ten championship, you still going to the college football playoffs. So I get the reasoning, but yeah, you don't. If you needed that game, they would have been playing. So, and then I think just with Ohio State, we had the same thing when we played Maryland. I think we beat Maryland 34-27, and Ohio State won, like 43-30 or something like that. Maryland is a good football team. They on the come up. So, more so us looking over Illinois than Ohio State looking over Maryland, because I think Maryland is a quality, is a serviceable Big Ten program right now on the East side. But yeah, man, it's human nature. I was worried about trap games all the way down the stretch after we had beat Penn State, but we got here finally. 11-0. So 3 o'clock Saturday, we'll see if I'm irate or elated.
yeah, like we spoke. I think I spoke on this a couple weeks back, leading up to this game. Now both teams are coming into the game undefeated at 11-0, but there's more than just a game at stake here. You got two potential Heisman Trophy candidates. Um, I think that Blake Corum is carrying more of a load than C.J. Stroud. And in my opinion, I would, if I had to pick a Heisman between those two candidates, it would be Blake Corum because of I think he's not to downplay what C.J. Stroud has done for Ohio State, but I just think, I don't know how you feel about this, but Ohio State since the Notre Dame game up until this Maryland game, which was last week, they played. I think I want to say maybe they played better complementary football than Michigan. I don't know. I mean,
What they definitely, I still think they the more talented roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Especially when they ain't had Jackson Smith and Jigba. He got 5 receptions on the year because he whatever his injury is kept him out. And then they just plug Marvin Harrison Jr. in there, and they still off and running, still scoring points, still beat people. I think they beat somebody 77-21 earlier this year. So I definitely think offensively they way more talented than us. Got more difference makers at skill positions. But the defensive side of the ball, I would say I think Michigan got the better defensive unit. But again, we gonna see. We gonna see how it all shake out on Saturday. Definitely. I don't know his name. Number 44, JT, whatever. He played for the enemy, so I'm not really supposed to know his name. So that's my excuse tonight. But uh, other than him having a breakout game versus Penn State, like I don't know, man. Like they defense don't scare me.
Yeah, but they've been getting it done on special teams as well. They just been finding other ways to win, and that's why I say that's why I'm not completely sold on C.J. Stroud being Heisman front runner because there's been some games when he was like I don't want to say struggling, but he wasn't getting off to exactly a fast start. But the special teams will make a big play, or the defense will make a big play, and I just think they just playing really good complementary football, and and I'm just wondering, to be honest with you, Michigan has to play mistake. Anytime you playing, you got to play mistake-free football. But it's going to be so important this week going into the horseshoe. And you know they want to you know Ohio State want their get back from last year. They probably been playing all season long just to get to this point.
Yeah,
And with Michigan, I think they want to just prove that the rivalry is on. And if they can beat Michigan, I mean, if they can beat Ohio State in the horseshoe, the rivalry is officially on.
agree. I mean, I couldn't have said that better myself. It's just last year you saw Ohio State. Ohio State was they bleed like in Rocky. Whenever he was fighting Ivan Drago, that was Rocky 4. Like, yo, he bleed too. He a man too. They had to get over that mental hurdle because it was some beat downs that they served up and offered us. And to get that get back, like, oh, we actually can beat these dudes. It's funny that Ohio State was saying, if it wouldn't have been snowing, we would have, went on here. But last time I checked, Columbus is in the Midwest, just like Michigan is. So y'all don't get snow there. Like that didn't even make no sense to me. Y'all just went out there and got your ass whooped, and it was time. Like you had won what 11 straight, not I think 8, 9 straight, something like that. We hadn't won since like 2011. Okay, last year was 2021, so that's 10 years, and we didn't play the COVID year. So that's like 9 straight. Like it was just time for Michigan to come through and break through. But like you said, we get this victory on Saturday in Columbus. They ain't won in Columbus in like 20 years, something like that. It's on there. Everything from recruiting is going like, yo, Michigan on the uptick. I might need to go see what Ann Arbor talking about. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot on the line. Like you said, Heisman, the rivalry, the Big Ten championship, the fan base is going back and forth. It's a lot on the line this week.
And when you consider uh, Coach Harbaugh coming to Ann Arbor years ago, in in this era of college football, it's and for just sports in general, coaches do not get an opportunity to do what he's done at Michigan. Last year, I think it was just like you said, it was a matter of time. I think last year you had an experienced Michigan football team, especially on the defensive end. You had experience a defense with a Heisman Trophy candidate with Aiden Hutchinson, and I forget the defensive end's name that got drafted to Baltimore.
Ojabo, David Ojabo.
Ojabo, yeah. You had a really good defense, opportunistic defense that would, make plays. And then you had the experiment with the two quarterback system last year with McNamara and McCarthy, and this year we're coming into this season where McNamara was like he got an opportunity for a couple weeks, and then Coach Harbaugh decided that he was going to go forward with McCarthy. Turns out that McNamara is injured, so he had to eventually turn that page anyway.
Yeah.
And the one thing McCarthy said, I'm pretty sure you caught it at the end of the game in the post game interview, which they beat Illinois with the field goal. But McCarthy said the reason why he believes that they can go and beat Ohio State again is because he thinks they're a better team than they were last year. Now, you look at the health issues. Corum coming back, if he can play, if he's going to be healthy, uh,
Your boy didn't play last week. AJ Henning didn't
that
play.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
AJ Henning, he wasn't back there to return his punts, and so Michigan may be limping into this game. So, but that just caught my attention when McCarthy said, "Hey, he just thinks that Michigan is just better than they were last year." And I don't know, I don't know if that defense is as good as it was last year.
Yeah, well, going into this game last year, I think Michigan was going more like this. They were ascending, they were peaking, going in the right direction. Um, the offense played flawless football last. Well, they had one turnover. McNamara threw that interception in the red zone. But outside of that, they played a very clean game. I think they maybe had one or two penalties the whole game. They played very clean football defense. I think Aiden Hutchinson had 3 sacks. So, but going into the game this year, I would say Michigan is doing like this because I definitely think the middle of the season was their high point. And now, especially with the questions that we got with the passing game, like JJ McCarthy was put into this offense because he was supposed to take the passing game to a next level. And it just has not happened. Now, I think a lot of that is Jim Harbaugh. Like, I think he won't let him cut loose and just play. So you got to blame a lot of that. I put a lot of that on the head coach's feet. You know what I'm saying? But just the question, like, if we fall behind in the game, and me and number 12 was talking about this on Monday night. If we fall behind by 2 scores, third quarter, it's over with. I don't think we got enough to to overcome that deficit. Now, if we fall behind 2 scores in the first quarter, it's a lot of football left to be played at that point. But if we get into a situation where we gotta pass, can we do it?
I believe McCarthy's got to make two big plays in this game. He could either way he want to do it, with his feet or with his arms. But I believe that he's going to have to make two big plays um, in this game, and the defense is going to need at least a turnover between defense and special teams. They have to put an imprint on this game. I don't know. I don't know if you could tell Blake Corum to. I don't know if he can go out and just put up 200 yards on this defense. I'm just being honest with you. I think Michigan is going to have to win this game in a variety of ways if they're going to do it. And I think J.J. McCarthy is going to have to make two big plays. Of course, Corum is going to have to be effective, and I'm hoping he's going to be healthy because we talked about this early in the season when he was getting all of those carries and racking up 200 yards in a game every now and then. What will he have left in the tank coming down to this Ohio State game, the biggest game of the season? To try and put them in a situation to go to the Big Ten championship.
Whoever the second back is, because we know Blake is gonna play. I can say that Blake is gonna play. We don't know how effective he's gonna be, but let's just say Blake is his normal self. Let's just say he's 85 to 100%. we need Blake got to go over 125 with a score, and then if Donovan Edwards is playing, we probably need 65 plus out of him yards and a couple catches out the backfield. You know, some that break the spirit of Ohio State's defense. Like we thought we was finna get off the field. He leaked out in the flat. He picked up the first down. To go along with what you said, JJ McCarthy got to make two big. Matter of fact, JJ McCarthy, if he make two big plays and he win this game, I know we talk about jerseys a lot on this show. I'm getting a JJ McCarthy jersey.
Well, fill his NIL stocking. You know what I'm saying, for the holiday season. Um, speaking of names, we talking about all these names. We talked about C.J. Stroud getting a lot of billing for the Heisman race, and there's other guys I don't think get as much recognition off this team as Travion Henderson and Dalen Hayden. I mean, we know Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think you can make a case for him to be a little higher in the Heisman running than C.J. Stroud. You can make that argument if you wanted to. I'm not going to make it, but you can.
I mean, you can, but hell, CJ throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a little give and take in there. But, and that's another thing. CJ Stroud coming into this game last year was a freshman, sophomore. What is he? So he was a freshman. A little bit of an inexperience in this rivalry. And the question now is, how effective will he be this year? Because I think last season they were saying he had a little bit of flu bug, if you remember.
Yeah.
And it's coming back to me. I think they said he had a little bit of a flu bug. But it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboy quarterback thing you talked about earlier. It's like the mystique of being the Ohio State quarterback, not to slight his talent, but I don't see Justin Fields when I see CJ Stroud.
No.
And when you talk about, projecting these guys to the NFL, so we get to look at these throwing motions and all this stuff when they start breaking them down. And I'm starting to look at them like his throwing motion is not a whole lot to talk about. I don't know if he's extremely fast as far as when he's not really I don't want to say he's a mobile quarterback. I mean, he's a game manager that can make plays. Actually, I don't want to downplay him, but I just think he's benefiting from being an Ohio State quarterback. I don't want to downplay him. I think he is benefiting from being the Ohio State quarterback because that team is playing good on all three phases. To be honest with you,
I give you the perfect probably comparison of Ohio State quarterbacks. Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins had that monster year. And he said all the Big Ten, he broke Drew Brees' passing records for touchdown, but he had a track team around him. And when he got to the NFL, it never really – now, granted, he had the tragic accident, so we never really got to see his second act with Pittsburgh. But what we saw when he was with the Washington Redskins football team Commanders, we was hearing a lot of stuff like this dude can't read a playbook. He don't work hard. There was a lot of stuff coming up out of there. And C.J. Stroud, I think like he's in that same position. He's the Ohio State quarterback. He's got weapons around him. But when you put him in a situation, and this is why I say you can make the argument, if you take Marvin Harrison off of that team, can C.J. Stroud carry them to 11-0? It's an argument to be made right there.
Yeah,
he's not.
It's just not eye popping to me. It's just I know it's Ohio State, and I just think he's benefiting from being at the Ohio State University and being the quarterback there. Marvin Harrison Jr. I didn't know he was a sophomore until recently. So the question now is, with both of these guys being sophomores, and then CJ Stroud being projected to be an NFL first round pick, top five, maybe top 10, top five, depending on who's drafting and who needs a quarterback. I honestly believe that CJ Stroud would benefit more from another year of college football, as well as Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, yeah, I don't think Marvin can go because you got to be 3 years out of high school.
3 years from your high school graduating class.
Yeah, so I think he'll be back next year. And yeah, I'm like you, man. I don't when I look at CJ Stroud, like it just don't jump off the tape. I don't know what NFL teams are lining up for this guy for. But I felt the same way about Trevor Lawrence. I thought he regressed after his freshman year at Clemson. It looked like he was just playing, all right, I'm going through the motions. I know I'm gonna be the number one pick. And I still haven't seen it in the NFL. Like, yeah, he's the starting quarterback, but has he really turned that thing around? This is just his second year, and I know Urban Meyer was there, and that was just a whole ordeal with what he went through with the organization. But man, it's just I'm not seeing it. Bryce Young, I see it.
Yeah,
With Deshaun
him
Watson,
and
you saw it.
Hooker as well, but it seems like, and you told me earlier that Hooker's, I guess he's down for the season or whatever
Yeah,
with the knee
ACL,
injury.
ACL. Yeah.
Okay, so sad to hear that because he was a hell of a prospect, and you wonder now with if he's got an ACL injury, how's that going to affect him going into the combine and the draft process of the NFL? But I don't see CJ Stroud as talented as Hooker. I didn't see him as exciting as Bryce Young either. And then that brings another, since we're talking about quarterbacks, the kid at Kentucky. He's been getting a lot of pub. Like, he pull his name up. But in the big games, he played against Tennessee. He didn't look all that impressive.
So,
And
go ahead.
uh, and then I hear a lot of critics. Now, in one perspective, the media is giving him all this big hype, saying he's a top five quarterback, top five draft pick quarterback. But in the big game, he didn't really show up. And then playing for Kentucky, how many big games are you playing in?
Trey
You
Lance.
know what I'm saying? And maybe is he the hidden jewel that Patrick Mahomes was? I don't know about that. I mean,
Yeah, and that's like hitting the lottery. What Patrick Mahomes did. I mean, he was in the Big 12 where they air it out. We've seen a lot of those quarterbacks not make it. Was Whedon? He was like he played with didn't he play with Dez, I think, at Oklahoma State Cowboys? Whoever
yeah,
his quarterback was, he didn't pan out. Like I said, Trey Lance was he was Division 1 FBS though, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
and they moved. I'm just like, why? They saying about Zach Wilson right now. They saying Zach Wilson only played 4 good teams in his entire collegiate career, and when he played somebody, he was 0-4. So,
And I believe the conference makes a difference. And when you're talking about the this kid, I can't pull this kid's name up though,
you
playing for
talking
Kentucky.
about not Will Levi, Kentucky quarterback. Hold on, I get it. Kentucky football.
Yeah, you're right.
Will.
Will Levi.
Oh, okay.
You're right. Uh, 6'3", 232-pound senior. He's been getting a lot of notoriety. I mean, pub for being an NFL first round draft pick. I don't know, man. I know he plays in the SEC. and get a chance to see some pretty good defenses. But he is a senior, so I don't know.
Dare I say Kyle Trask?
Kyle, but Kyle Trask, I don't know. I guess I got to take a better look at this guy because I like Kyle Trask. I got to take a better look at Will Levi because a lot of people was talking about they weren't too impressed with his arm. I don't know. I just got to take a better look at the kid. But I seen him play against LSU. I mean not LSU against Tennessee. It was just a straight. He didn't play well. That's to my knowledge. That's got to be the biggest game he played in the last 2 seasons. But I just brought that up because all these prospects you're talking about, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Bryce Young looked like the most talented one of them all,
Oh yeah,
in my opinion.
it's not even close. It's not even close. I'm taking if I have a pick, I'm going Bryce first, then Hendon, and then we can, I guess, C.J. Stroud off a name reputation after that. But I mean, you got what's my man at Oregon that was at Ole Miss,
Bo
is it
Nix.
Bo Nix?
Bo
Yeah,
Nix.
he,
Now I
he
like Bo Nix. I like Bo Nix. Went to Oregon, had an opportunity to throw the ball around a little bit more, so becoming more of a high volume passer. Now,
Caleb Williams. We ain't mentioned
I'm gonna
him.
be honest with you. If I had to, now that we know that Hendon Hooker has been injured or whatever the situation may be, don't know his status. I guess you can still leave him at number two, but I would put Bo Nix at number three. I would take Bo Nix over C.J. Stroud.
So where you taking Caleb Williams from USC then?
I take Bo Nix over Caleb Williams as well.
Okay, I'm going the other way. I think I'll take Caleb over Bo Nix.
Okay. All right. What year is Caleb?
I think this is last year because he was at Oklahoma. I think 2 years. Remember, he had the
Okay.
whole QB battle with Spencer Ratliff, who transferred
Yeah, Rattler. He's at South Carolina now. So
and
yeah.
just had a great game last week
Yeah.
versus Tennessee. So
Yeah. But that's just it here. There's a big game going on Michigan at Ohio State. I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to say that's the biggest game of the weekend. NFL, college football, or NBA. Biggest game of the holiday weekend. Um, really looking forward to that game. I want to turn around my attention to the NFL, and we can wrap it up. First of all, we won't spend a lot of time on the Bears. I just want to talk about the injury situation with Justin and the differences. You talk about him and Zach Wilson. The difference, and it's so ironic how they're on a collision course where they may not even play. Either one of them may not even play in the game, but both teams heading in two different directions, two quarterbacks getting two totally different results. And it's crazy because here it is, Justin Fields playing with the Bears, putting up good numbers with his feet, scoring points on multiple ways, and he's losing. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, not really lighting the scoreboard up with points. Got a really good defense on the other side of the football, and they are winning. They are projected to be a playoff team at this point. So two quarterbacks in the same draft, but they got two totally different fortunes, two crazy different fortunes. You got Justin Fields, where everybody's talking about maybe he's a future MVP, and he's on a losing team,
mm-hmm.
3-8. Then you got Zach Wilson on a winning team, and he's damn near about to get demoted for a little while because of just mental toughness and attitude. Two totally different things. One guy you would think should be down, but his spirits are up, and the other guy you think should be up, but his spirits are down. I mean, they
Yeah,
asked they asked Zach Wilson about after losing to the New England Patriots after they only scored 3 points. Do he feel sorry about? Does he feel bad about?
letting the defense down.
Yeah, letting the defense down. He says no. So what I found out today was after Justin Fields threw the interception against the Falcons, before he went for further evaluation on that dislocated shoulder, do you know? This is breaking news to you, I guess. But did you know that Justin took out the time and he wanted to apologize to the defense? Did you hear that?
I ain't hear that.
Now, that's crazy, ain't it? You talk about two quarterbacks, two teams in two different fortunes. This guy's on the winning team, this guy's on the losing team. Justin is apologizing to his guys, but Eddie Jackson and some of the defensive guys say, "Nah, bro, no, this you don't owe us no apology. You know, the offense scoring points, we got to play better." Well, on the other hand, Zach Wilson say he don't feel bad about not scoring points.
Dude, like I can't even wrap my mind around that logic. Like, dude, you scored 3 points. Your job is to put points on the board. If your defense holds an NFL team to 3 points, you supposed to. Oh, that's automatic. That's in the W column. That's
Yeah.
what we've been saying about the Bears all year. We've been saying offense put up 30 points. That's enough to win. But you gave up 49. You gave up 31. Like, so it's just when I saw that press conference and I saw him say it, and he was really matter of fact, straight to the point, and then got up out of there after he said no. Like, that's not gonna buy you no goodwill in the locker room, because I'm sure the defense looking like, bro, we did what we supposed to do.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I say, two quarterbacks in two totally different team situations. One's winning, one's losing, and the one that's losing is actually getting more. He's gaining more respect from his teammates as the one that's winning. That's kind of like this. This guy needs the attitude adjustment, being Zach Wilson.
You know
And
what?
we said it, and it was proven. It was proven with Deshaun Watson. And what I don't understand about this is it's been proven with Deshaun Watson. He'll be coming back soon. But what I mean by that is this: Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence probably played in two. They probably played in more big games in college football than Trey Lance and Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
But these the scouts and coaches, they fall in love with all of these intangible things with all this arm talent, but it's the intangible things that they're missing out on, and those are things you can't judge: the leadership, the
Mm-hmm.
big game opportunities, the big game experience. Well, it was obvious Trevor Lawrence and Justin had big game experience. After Deshaun Watson performed the way he did at Clemson, and he showed scouts and coaches that playing in big games matter. It's crazy when you think about the fact that the 49ers and the Jets passed up on Justin Fields. It's uh, the guy had played in enough big games to know that he was ready to play, at this level. And Trey Lance, I mean, I predicted earlier, and he ended up getting injured. Uh, and his misfortunes are strange because Garoppolo's got the San Francisco 49ers after they go out and get McCaffrey. They playing on another level. They may be one of the better teams going into the home stretch of the NFC. But it just kills me when they overlook all the experience of these guys and they just want to go with all this talent. They missed all these intangibles.
And to your point, the 49ers are leading the NFC West right now. So I mean that puts Trey Lance in another spot. Like when he comes back, like Jimmy G just went to the NFC Championship last year. He's winning, he's leading the division right now and through 10 games. So they probably gonna have a playoff berth. They probably gonna be in the playoffs again. Like, how do you say, Jimmy, we moving off of you? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. We saw you do it at the NFL level. All we did was see, he's 6'4", he runs a 4.5. That's all they can say about Trey Lance. But
Mhm.
Jimmy G's done it on the field. Justin's done it on the field at the highest level in college football. You see him doing it on the field. It hasn't turned into wins yet, but you see him doing it. Zach Wilson, he kind of come off kind of like a front runner a little bit to me, especially with that comment he made. When things is good, yeah, let's go team, high five. But when it's bad, it's almost like Jay Cutler-ish.
Well, he ain't even. I mean, I know how we feel about Jay Cutler and his 10 years of bed, but Zach Wilson don't even compare to Jay.
No. I'm just talking about the
He,
way he acted in that moment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got that right. I mean, because Jay did have him. He did have some dud moments when they asked him some, to like have some big leadership
Mm-hmm.
statements. And then one of the biggest things with Jay was, remember when he went off on the offensive lineman and pushed him on the field? You remember that?
Yeah.
But anyway, they overlook a lot of these intangibles when it comes to drafting these quarterbacks and then just playing in big games. There's something to be said for playing in big games. So we gonna move on. But Justin was asked about, first of all, he got the separated shoulder, and they still haven't ruled him out. And I really don't think he's gonna play, but they still haven't ruled him out. We do know that Zach Wilson will not play against the Bears. He will not play. I think White is going to be the quarterback for the Jets on Sunday. So Justin's situation is kind of still up in the air. I personally think they should sit him. I think they should go ahead and start Trevor Simeon. But Justin just keeps giving me these Michael Jordan moments. The reason why I say this is because, you know, when I heard about him apologizing to the team about throwing that pick, and they asked him today about what's what's have you ever played banged up and injured? What's the worst you ever played? What's the worst condition you ever been in? And he said it was in the national championship, I guess this last year at Ohio State when he
Yep.
had the
Yep.
broken ribs and a hip injury. And they asked him, he said it was nowhere in the hell you was gonna pull him out of that game. You know what I'm saying? And that's just Kobe Bryant type, Michael Jordan type of stuff. You
Yep.
don't I mean, you don't get guys like that every day. I mean, when you talk about load management in the NBA and just the clear destruction that you put yourself in when you're playing an NFL football game, for this guy to come out and he has really, they're not playing for anything. And he really wants to get up. He wants to stay out there on the field and compete. Hey, I just keep getting these Michael Jordan vibes when you talk about Justin Fields. I really hope it comes to fruition because Chicago really needs another a good uh, athlete on that level. And if it can be Justin Fields, Bears finally getting a quarterback, it'd really be nice for it to be him. I'm just rooting for the kid, but I hope he's out this week. Touching on some of the other stuff around the league, and then we're gonna close up. In the AFC, who's catching your eye right now?
Well, I mean, how can you argue with what the Chiefs doing? They 8-2. I'm surprised at the ineffectiveness of the Raiders. I'm surprised that the Broncos, how bad they've been. And they just cut Melvin Gordon the other day.
Okay.
Um, the Bengals. I know they just beat Pittsburgh on Sunday. Let me get the stats up here. I mean, you can't count them out because they about to get Jamar Chase back. They in second place. They 6-4. Not too impressed with the AFC South. Titans at the top of that division, 7-3. Everybody else under 500. But the AFC East, that might be the best division in football. Everybody's above 500. Dolphins 7-3. The last place team is the Jets. They 6-4. They a game out. So I mean, Buffalo. You would think this thing is gonna come down to Buffalo and the Chiefs, but Buffalo, man, they have some games where they be like they look like the greatest show on turf, and then they have some games like y'all lost to them. How? Like,
Yeah. Josh Allen has had some the last couple of weeks he had some games where he had some big turnovers. But when you look back at how they started the season, they look like the 85 Bears.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, they look like they were going to be just unstoppable all season long. They look like they were one of the few teams that can go undefeated, and it didn't happen that way. I mean, they lost to Minnesota. We can get to them later, but they lost to Minnesota, and
which might have been the best NFL game so far this year.
Yeah,
Minnesota and Buffalo.
So KC is hard. It's hard not to. It's hard not to pick. It's hard not to pick KC. Baltimore, the Bengals, hell, the Titans. I mean, it's interesting because the big back, what's his name over there with the Titans?
Derrick Henry.
Henry, he carrying a hell of a load
because they ain't got no quarterback.
Yeah, he carrying a hell of a load, man. Tennessee 7-3. I believe it's gonna come back between the Chiefs.
Are you buying the Dolphins?
That's what I'm saying. You can't overlook the Dolphins. Because hell, right now they got them ahead of the Bills.
Right. I just don't know if I believe in them. Like, they having a great year, but would I really put some money down on them? Like, all right, I think the Dolphins can really contend this year. Because I'm not that big of a Tua fan. I know he got weapons around him and he's doing what he's supposed to do, but I don't know, man. I think I got more faith in Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes for sure. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes' division now. Like, I mean, it's his conference. Like how it was Tom Brady's conference. It's his conference.
Well, that's the thing. Tua, can he finish out being healthy? That's the thing. When he's had his issues with being healthy. So the question mark for him is just staying healthy for the rest of the season. And then you got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens at 7-3. It's a lot of balance in the AFC. Let's kick over to the NFC. The NFC East is the strongest conference. And I mean, you got everybody in the hunt.
Everybody over 500, yeah.
Everybody in the hunt. You got Eagles at 9-1. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? The Cowboys, they just beat up on Minnesota.
And they got
the Giants
tomorrow versus the Giants.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, I believe teams are starting to figure the Giants out. If you can figure out a way to stop Saquon Barkley, you can stop the Giants. But they got an opportunity on Turkey Day to go up against the Cowboys. Pretty good matchup that we'll be able to check out. And then the Buffalo Bills, I think they got the Lions in the early game. They'll be playing Detroit. Minnesota. After, like I say, they just got beat by the Cowboys after going up and beating the Buffalo Bills. They just laid an egg against the Cowboys at home. It's kind of hard to say with the NFC, but then you got hell. We can't count the Buccaneers out. They got Tom Brady, and maybe that defense will show up sooner or later. And then, of course, we talked about the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo and the Seahawks, who a lot of critics were saying was probably the worst team in football, right along lines with the Bears, right along lines with the Giants. They were saying that the Seahawks, the Bears, and the Giants were three of the worst teams in football.
I,
Now the Bears depleted their roster on the defensive end, but
I'm happy for Gino. I'm happy for Gino because Gino was in a bad situation when he got drafted to the Jets. That organization was in shambles. Then he was a backup for the Giants, and then I think he went somewhere else before he was backing up Russell Wilson. So I'm glad to see Gino really doing this thing. I think it's kind of an indictment on Russell Wilson because Russell, you wanted all this control, and shout out to you for saying like, yeah, we don't need them problems. It's been just storyline after storyline when he been in Denver and it's not producing on the field. Meanwhile, Gino and Pete Carroll, they still got this thing rolling.
yeah, when you touch on the Bears in the situation with Russell Wilson when they were talking about bringing him to Chicago, I just didn't want the high profile relationship coming through town because I just think right now we just need a good football team, good football players. That's now once you win championships, you're gonna get some of that stuff. But I didn't want any prima donna type or high profile relationship swinging through the Windy City. And I didn't want him to come in for the wrong reasons because it was the market. And I heard that he was saying he just wanted to get into a market. And that just screams high profile relationship. And I
See,
didn't want that for the Bears.
you didn't want to bump into Sierra at River Oaks.
No, 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 no. I didn't want to be watching the game and we watching the game and they want to pan over to Sierra just to have some talk about. And that's what you get a lot of times when you watch the Broncos. You know what I'm saying? Well, I just didn't want the Bears in that situation. I just don't think the organization is in a good spot to handle those things right now because it's just it's just bad press, bad media, especially if you're not winning. It just makes the situation worse. I mean, look at what he's going through now in Denver.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just makes the situation worse. So I just didn't want it for that reason. But um, like I say, Geno Smith playing good football, and I had to. It brings to mind another quarterback that he's getting a second opportunity or third opportunity to play in this league, and it brings to mind I got another guy like Taylor Heineke, a guy we talked about last week, and in this league, it's just not enough of those type of guys. I think at every other position on a football team, you're going to get guys that can kind of make it. You know what I'm saying? Just make it. If they could just be available and be healthy, they could probably make it. But the quarterback position is the toughest position to get drafted highly. And if you just don't pan out, I mean, you can be done in a year.
Yep.
You could be done in 6 weeks, 4 weeks. Look at what's going on in Carolina. Look at all the draft capital they lost just trying to get the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And who?
they
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, which I think Sam Darnold. I think he might be getting a chance to start this week. But Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I mean, these were really high-profile quarterbacks coming out of college, and now they're both in the same stomping ground. Where if they don't get it done, they're going to be
Backup.
drafting another quarterback.
Yep.
in the draft upcoming. So just to see guys get an opportunity, capitalize on it. Geno Smith, Taylor Haneke, and then you think about guys like Kurt Warner, Steve Young. I mean, I don't know if this league has room for guys like that anymore. So it's really good to see coaches evaluate talent properly and don't let the paycheck determine who's going to be on the field.
Yep.
As hard as it is to do, and we, like hell, good thing Dak Prescott. I think Cooper Rush lit a fire into him, like get it done, Dak. And he's played a little bit better since he's been back. Cooper Rush probably pushed him. It's just rare to see guys get second and third chances in this league at that position. At that position, I should say, with at
Yeah.
being quarterback. So, yeah, Geno Smith, when he was at West Virginia, you know what I'm saying, doing his thing. Think about all the guys that was doing their thing. RG3 for one, doing his thing, one and done. RG3 is pretty much one and done. And that's why we don't want to see a kid like Justin Fields get banged up and just put out there uselessly when there's nothing to be played, nothing on the line to play for. I think about RG3. I think about the situation Justin Fields is in where you don't want to waste, his ability. We know what he can do.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe they're asking him to do a little bit too much running. Now let's get the kid healthy so that he can have a long, prosperous career.
And I
So
mean, you nailed it. I can't even follow that up. I mean, because you kind of went down the last 10 years of quarterbacks and you nailed every single one of them. Like it's one and done. You get one shot, especially being drafted that high. You get one shot. Sam Darnold, he was lucky enough to get two, but it's probably over with for him. It's probably
yeah,
over with for Baker Mayfield. I mean, they'll be in the league as backups. Uh, Andy Dalton, he had a long run with the Bengals, but now he's pretty much he's the guy you go get. Hey, we need a backup with experience.
yeah.
I'm just trying to just go through the league real quick. Who else gonna
When you speak of Andy Dalton, just think about the guy he was competing with week in and week out. Uh, the
James?
quarterback,
You
the
talking about
other
James?
quarter, Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
Winston. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, these opportunities, man, in this league, just few and far between. And then you got Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Hayden Hooker. I mean, they're always looking for the next guy. They're always looking for the next guy.
Just to throw this out, if I'm the Tennessee Titans, and let's just say I got an opportunity, let's just say one of these quarterbacks fall. Why would I not trade up to go get him? I got Derrick Henry. That's what Ryan Tannehill. He's another guy drafted in the first round by the Dolphins. He got another shot, but is he the reason? I can't say that.
Now, think about what you said. You talk about Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
They just drafted a quarterback last year,
Malik Willis, I forgot. Yeah,
and with your perspective, you see what I'm saying? Because with your perspective, Malik Willis will be out. Now, same situation in Green Bay. This is another reason why. As a Bear fan, now we just rambling, but it's good talk. As a Bear fan, got to be careful when you root against the Packers now. The reason why I say this is because I think it'd be more beneficial for the Packers to win throughout, but lose that game at Soldier Field. Exactly. Of course, we want to beat Green Bay, but I wouldn't mind seeing Green Bay go on a winning streak, minus the Chicago Bears. I don't want to see them beat the Bears. The reason why I say this is because you like Bryce Young, right?
mm-hmm.
You like Hayden Hooker, right?
And he end up in Green Bay.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Now they got Jordan Love on a rookie contract. Maybe it was a way to try and talk Aaron Rodgers out of town, but Aaron Rodgers took his ball. He said, "I'm gonna take my ball and I don't want to play anymore." Oh, well, I'm gonna take my ball and no one's gonna play. But they didn't count on. They probably was counting on the fact that they would get the wide receiver back and they would run. They would probably thought they would run Rodgers out of town, but Devontae Adams will stick around and we can get him. Maybe they were thinking along those terms, but it didn't work out that way. So now, be careful when you cheer for the Packers to lose because we don't want them to get another. How many years they didn't have a franchise quarterback?
40.
So
Like seriously, 40. How long did Favre play for him? Like 15? Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers coming up on like 17. That's 32 years.
hey man, be careful when you root against the Packers because being a Chicago fan, we don't want to see them get anything special behind center anytime soon. And I would not want to see Bryce Young or anyone else for that matter. This kid Levi might end up there. I guess the kid from
Kentucky.
Kentucky. I mean, he looked like the type of guy that they would take up in Green Bay. Big, strong, you know what I'm saying? But be careful when you root against the Packers. I want to see the Packers win a few more games. I don't want to see them getting too high of a high draft pick in this upcoming season. Aaron Rodgers' future might be up in the air. We don't know what they're gonna get. We don't know what they're expecting out of Jordan Love. His rookie contract got to be coming to an end. I don't want to see the Packers. I don't want to see them pull off another, you know,
Heist.
big time acquisition at their position anytime soon.
Yeah, I just thought of another quarterback while we were sitting there. Davis Mills. He's been demoted. He got benched. He's not starting this week. And for the Texans, he leads the league in interceptions right now. So he's not starting. Like, so he might be, career backup after this. You know what I'm saying? Like you get
Mm-hmm.
the shot, that second opportunity for these quarterbacks don't come around. Only who we see it for? Kirk Cousins, but he actually produced.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. Sometimes I have a hard time remember where he even started. He started in Washington,
Remember
and
they
they
drafted
drafted him. They
and
drafted
RG3.
him with RG3. The
Yep,
same draft.
yep,
Think about that for a minute. So just the competition level in this league to play that position and hang on to the job, it's hard to do.
yeah.
Um, I mean, maybe we'll get a chance to see Trevor Simeon play for the Bears and this weekend, and maybe we'll figure out if he's the backup. But this the question: Trevor Simeon goes out and plays particularly well. Now he's from Northwestern,
Mm-hmm.
so he might be. I don't want to say it'll be a fan favorite because I think for the most part this city is sold on Justin Fields. If you drive up and down the highways and byways, you can see a Justin Fields advertisement on the billboard every now and then. He got a big campaign with Dunkin' Donuts and stuff like that. But if Trevor Simeon go out play particularly well, then what?
It's just by Justin another week to heal that shoulder up. I don't think we gonna have no QB controversy or nothing like that. Just Justin solid. So Trevor Simeon can go out there and play like Cooper Rush, and when it's time for Justin to come back, Justin come back. That's
Yeah.
that's the best case scenario.
All right, so we're gonna close out Michigan and Ohio State. You got a score you want to throw out?
I mean, because I ain't fit. I'm nervous. I'm apprehensive about it. I'm nervous, and I'm not gonna fix my mouth up to say I'm not gonna fix my mouth up to say it going the wrong way. So, I just hope my boys pull it out in Columbus. That's all I got for you. That's all I can give you.
See, that's the reason why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to get your vibe on this. Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of Ohio State because they've been getting rid of teams pretty early. But since Notre Dame, I seen Notre Dame. I seen that game against Notre Dame week 1 of the college football season. And then I seen this game against Maryland. The only reason why I was able to stick around was because they were good games. But Ohio State been getting rid of some teams before halftime. And the thing that concerns me about Michigan, they've been getting off to some slow starts in the last 2, 3 weeks. They cannot do that this week.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We not ascending, we descending.
Yeah.
And
then
yeah, I'm worried about us. It ain't nothing to do with Ohio State. I'm worried about us.
All right, I get you. So hopefully I get a chance to watch the game with you and number 12 and cut a pack, man. I'm hoping I can pull that off. But we'll see, man. I mean, the next time I see you, the next time they see you, because I'll probably see you as the game goes on.
Yeah.
But the next time they see you and watch the game,
I'm gonna have to pull it together. If it don't go my way. But yeah, put it like this: watch the game.
You might need a week off, huh?
Listen, watch the game, community. If you got my number, okay, check the score before you text me on Saturday. Check the results. That's all I'm saying, because you might not get a response to Christmas. I'm just saying.
Hey, and then the whole thing going to the national championship playoff last year and raise the stakes, I think that has an effect on you too, don't it? Now you tasted it. You've been kind of going your whole adult life, watching game after game and just, every week with your brother and your dad and just, hey man, I feel for you. So I can imagine what you're going through. That's why I can only cheer for the Bears. I don't have 2 teams. Now I'm on the Michigan bandwagon, but that's what I'm on. I'm on the bandwagon because you have me here. You know what I'm saying? So watch the game podcast. Check on my man Penn on right around 3:00.
Yeah, 3:00.
4:00 Saturday. Make sure he's doing all right. Especially if this thing don't turn out right.
Yeah.
I always tell people before I go on vacation at work, I need you to look when I'm gone. I need you to check on me because I'm gonna be chilling so hard. I need you to check on me. So check on in after this Michigan Ohio State game. I'll see you, man. May get a chance to check it out with you.
Yep.
Watch the game podcast. We had to jump on, have a little fun tonight with this. Peace out.
We out of here. Go blue, go blue.